What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back here with some more Resident Evil gameplay for you. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something that just kind of materialized over the last few days. Not something I was planning to make, but with the events going on with the whole Resident Evil community, talking about the 30th anniversary, comments about that, the feelings about that, how it's kind of a little bit divided, as well as the whole Road to Requiem and pre-order thing going on with Resident Evil Requiem. I figured all the combination of these things led me to this video. But basically, one of the big things was, the Road to Requiem video showcasing what the pre-order bonuses were depending on which version of the game you get. And one of the things I didn't really touch too much on was one of the costumes, was that if you got the deluxe version of the game, you would get one of the costumes that make you look like Lady D from Resident Evil Village. And that was one instance where we saw Lady D there. We also had another instance where the person who voices her, Maggie, who, once again, this is not targeted at her because she does a wonderful, excellent job, was the one doing the whole voiceover and presentation of the Road to Requiem. Isn't the first time they've used her this year for that. As well as seeing other collaborations about her. And then I started seeing articles brought up on how Capcom seemingly, because they seemingly use her and everything now to market things, how they must feel really bad about killing her off. And then I saw more comments talking about how it's kind of a little bit jarring how it seems like they only use her to promote their product now. Like, when for a 30th anniversary, when they use, at least 30 years of people that have worked on it, whether voiced characters or behind the scenes or whatever, why they only use Lady D? Which prompted me to make this whole video and my feelings about this. And I'm just going to say it. It is my opinion, so don't take it as a word of fact, but I believe in the entirety of the Resident Evil franchise and almost 30 years of it. I think Lady D is without a doubt the most overrated character in the franchise. Now, that's a bold claim to make, but I give you my parameters of why I believe that. To understand why she's overrated, in my opinion, we must go back to Village before it eventually came out. And the whole thing behind it. Because if there's two things Village is known for, in my opinion, it's false advertising and overhype. Because that game had a lot of hype going into it, and it had a lot of advertisement that was basically false when it came to the final product. I mean, for the false advertising, let's just get to the whole bottom of the thing. Like, Chris is on the cover of the game, for goodness sakes. And it was made to be like it was a big deal, etc., etc. Well, newsflash, he really wasn't a big deal. He's barely in the game, has a short playable segment at the end of the game. Another thing that was a big deal was the whole ties to Umbrella. Like, it's going to have some big groundbreaking revelation. And let's just be honest, it had head scratched more than anything else. It wasn't groundbreaking as much as just thinking, like, okay, what was even the point? And it went nowhere. With the whole ties of Mother Miranda, having the direct inspiration to Umbrella being created. But then, the other big thing, is the reason why I clicked on this video, was Lady D herself. And let's be perfectly honest here. The amount of hype she got from whether Capcom seemingly pushing her for the marketing, as well as fans losing their minds, when it came to the final product, it was night and day, because it was an absolute failure of anything. I mean, it was a big whoop for nothing. Now, before anyone gets into this, I understand why people are fanatic about Lady D. Listen, they my first time on the internet. I get it, and I understand it. But I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that just have to say, you gotta do more than be some big, tall vampire, whatever you want to call her nowadays. People call her Dommy Mommy, Mama Milkers, or Lady D herself. Whatever you want to call her, I'm sorry. Being this tall, attractive vampire woman hunting you down, trying to suck your blood, is not enough to make me think, oh my god, you're this excellent character in a survival horror franchise. You have to do more. And as you can tell by this video, as well as what eventually happened in Village, if anyone's ever played it, it was not anything people were expecting. People thought she was going to be a big deal, but the reality is this. If you blink, you might have missed her, because unfortunately, she's barely in the game. She's basically the first stage boss. I mean, she's basically the equivalent of when you fight and defeat the Del Lago in Resident Evil 4. That's the very beginning and early stages of the game. She's basically the first boss, and once you go through the castle, beat her daughters, and defeat her, that's the end of it. So, my question to everyone else is, outside of people just obsessed with her look, why is she so popular? I mean, because you might be able to argue, well, you know, she's not in it very long, but is the time she's in it, does she do something? Is she, like, really relevant? Is she, like, amazing segment? Well, the funny part is when people talk about any of the lords, I think the one that gets talked about the most, ironically enough, in terms of something they liked, is the whole baby section from, you know, Donna from the house. But most of the time when they talk about Lady D, it's just disappointment. We're thinking, like, that's it? That's all we got? Because she's not very memorable at all. In terms of a stalker enemy, yeah, I know people have their problems with stalker enemies, but my problem is I barely even realize she is a stalker because she's such a non-threat. Like, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have never, ever died to Lady D while she was trying to stalk me in a castle. I may have died a few times in the boss fight, especially maybe playing on a higher difficulties, but when she's just stalking you in the castle, going after you, I've never died to her once. Like, at all. Period. I mean, better yet, I'll be even more brutally honest with you. I think with the exception of making of this video, I think most of the time she's hit me. 95% of the time she's actually hit me while stalking me in the castle. It's only because I let her. Because let's just be honest, when you can walk, basically walk away from her and not even really have to run half the time, why would I be anywhere alerted or threatened by that? I mean, other than, I guess, doing spin moves like she's trying to run a pick in NBA 2K whatever, or maybe trying to do a spin move in Madden, I don't see how this is really effective as being a stalker, if anything else. I mean, let's just be honest here. I mean, most of the time she ever hit me is because I allowed it. Because she's never going to touch me. I mean, why would I be afraid of somebody who's slower than a upside-down paraplegic turtle with Down syndrome at this point? Like, this is the stalker enemy. And not to mention, getting back to the design and look, since everyone wants to obsess over it, how it works in this game, I'll be honest with you, it kind of feels more like a modded design. Like someone just modded there as a joke or something. But no, this is the real design. This feels so nonchalant. Like, yeah, really? This is what stalkers come from? If we're comparing RE Engine new games, then Jack Baker easily clears Lady D any day of the week in terms of being a stalker, because it's not even a contest. I mean, the only things I can even say that I decently like about it is I like when she pulls out the claws. It does look cool. I also like the fact that when she hits you, she kind of like holds your hand as if saying, hey, you know, how dare I put my hand on this filthy man thing garbage and stuff. But other than that, most of the time when she's in the area near me, I just don't care. I mean, by the time she gets her big ass through the door, I'm already long gone, and I just really don't care. It's too easy, and she's basically just the equivalent of a normal enemy. So she's probably the worst stalker I've ever encountered in Resident Evil because there's no threat level. She's slow as shit, and there's just so many ways to get away from it. I mean, half the time I can walk away from it, so that's a failure. But I know what some people might be thinking. Okay, well, is the boss fight at least decent enough? And once again, the boss fight, it's alright. It's nothing great. It's nothing bad. It's just another fight in the franchise. And to be fair, Resident Evil doesn't necessarily have the greatest or most memorable boss fights, but honestly, whenever I think of Lady D, it's just more of just another enemy, and that's the thing. That's how I honestly look at her. I don't look at her as this thing that people on the internet want to call her, you know, some dommy mommy vampire everyone's dreams come realize. I just see her as another enemy that you go ahead and beat. She's no different than Irving from Resident Evil 5 to me, or the Del Lago from Resident Evil 4. Well, at least the Del Lago was unique in terms of this boss fight, so that's not a fair comparison either, but you get the point. She's just another enemy. Once you get through it, you beat her, that's it. So my question to everyone else is, why is everyone so obsessed with this, and why is Capcom seemingly so obsessed with constantly trying to bring this character back to market their 30th anniversary or anything from Requiem? Once again, if you want to say that you want Maggie to basically play another character's role, that's fine, but I'm even hearing topics of, oh, they might actually bring this character back, which would make zero sense, because if you can bring her back, then you might as well just bring back anyone at that point. But a character that's in so little screen time is barely relevant, only outside of her looks has no relevancy, let's just be honest. And this character is popular? I mean, this ain't the first time we've had, I guess, attractive looking characters in Resident Evil, but at least the other ones, they had relevance to the plot, because Lady D has no relevance to the plot, other than just being another enemy you beat to get the flask to get Rose. Because let's just be honest here. If we're talking about lords, Heisenberg is easily the best of the 4 lords. He's the one that had more character, more story, and more potential if he had survived. Unfortunately, he didn't, but if he had survived, he could have been continued on and become a recurring threat that constantly be used in future games. But unfortunately, Capcom didn't see it that way either, so they kind of did everyone dirty here. But if there's anyone that should be talked about and popular, it should be him, because he's got more than just looks, unlike Lady D, who, let's be honest, without her looks, you know, she's basically nothing. It's why no one really talks about the boss fight with her, because it completely throws the looks out the window. And it's just kind of just a random transformation that just, as I said, nobody talks about, because that's all Lady D really is, looks. If she didn't look like this tall 10-foot vampire woman, nobody would be talking about her. She doesn't have any importance, so why is she popular? And that's my biggest problem with this character, is this character has done next to nothing at all, and there's someone that's popular that people want to see, and not to mention they're a terrible stalker type. They're the worst stalker type I've ever encountered, period. So why are they popular? I know the answer, but still that reason shouldn't be a reason. And it's why I've just got to say it, Lady is the most overrated Resident Evil character, period. No one has gotten more popularity and love for basically doing close to, if not next to nothing. If you want to make the argument that they should have done a lot more and that you're disappointed they didn't do much because they overhyped the hell out of her, I don't disagree, but unfortunately this is what they did. So why they constantly want to keep using this character as well as the person voicing him, you know, basically trying to act like the character still, they constantly promote the product and not other things, is beside me. I don't have anything against the person, but seeing them used in everything in the marketing is kind of getting a little jarring. Like, you have 30 years of history. Like, why is this the only thing you use? Who knows? Who knows? But hopefully I made my points clear. And I said, if you do like Lady D, more power to you. Maybe you can actually give me a good, unique reason of why you do like her outside of what she looks like. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what you look like. I care about what you do. But that's my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. How do you feel about Lady D as a character? Do you think she's overrated with all the popularity she seemingly gets for barely being in the game? Or, who knows, maybe you can actually argue you think she's underrated, or maybe like me, not only do you think they're overrated, maybe it's just a non-factor. Let me know down in the comment section down below, but thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back on the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.